As weird as it may sound, in this video, I'm going to show you how to learn more by reading less. Whether with physical books, Kindle books, audio books. I used to read dozens of books every single year, and last year I stopped that. And it's totally made a huge difference in my life, and I believe it can make the same difference in your life too, so let's talk about it. Now let me just clarify, I don't think that reading is bad. If anything, it's the opposite. I think reading is the most cost-effective way to take what an author has learned over decades from his experience and skills and condensed it into a day worth of reading for you to learn. And it's actually pretty dope when you think of it like that. So what's the problem? Now, I don't know about you, but for me, it wasn't until after high school that I learned that I actually love books instead of hating them. Because school kind of made me feel some type of way about books. I wasn't a big fan during school. But after school was done, after high school was done, I started loving books. I'd order like 6 books at a time. Books on psychology, marketing, finance, investing, personal development, all these books, and I would just rip through them. And I would just love it. I would feel great buying the books. I would feel great reading through the books. And then after you're done, you learn so much, and then I would finish it, and then I'd go pick up another book. And then with that next book, I do the same thing. I'd go through it, love it, learn a lot, be done, go pick up another book, read it, love it, learn it, another book, read it, love it, learn. And I was learning so much. But there was one problem. As the years went by, as much as I knew, I'd sit and reflect on my goals, and then I'd look around in my life and think, why am I not where I want to be? Why am I not closer to my goals? If I know so much, why am I not in a better place? See, I was crushing through these books, but I wasn't crushing through my goals. There's a problem there, there's a disconnect. And see, I was becoming a super consumer, a super reader, a super learner, and that applies to not just books, but like audiobooks, YouTube videos, and I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. And that made me frustrated. And so a few years ago, I realized I was going to spend much less time on reading and consuming information and much more time implementing that information into my daily life. And so I started to apply what I was learning about entrepreneurship and business and marketing and finance and investments and implementing into my daily life, finding ways to add that action into my life and forget about reading as much. And see, what I found was, regardless of whether I succeeded or failed during that action, the experiential learning I got from that was so much more sticky, was so much more permanent in my mind. I learned so much more by taking action on information instead of just consuming information. And then with that newfound wisdom and information, I'd share it with people, friends, family. I'd write blog posts and articles on it. I'd create videos on the information. And that would just continue to deepen my experience more and more. And on top of that, I'd have the added benefit of actually taking action and having a result that can lead to further knowledge and further results instead of just reading, consuming. And I get it, it sounds kind of cliche, but that actually made a huge pivot in my life. And if you do the same thing, it will make a huge pivot in yours. And I focus on implementation and getting results. And so now what I do is I restrict myself to one book. And it's not just any book, it's one book that is relevant to where I am. One book that's relevant to where you are. Not what I plan on doing or I'm going to do or eventually I'll get around to doing in my life. Only relevant to what I'm doing at this very moment in my career. And see, that was my problem. I'd read books that were at like a level 10 in expertise, and I'm only at like a level 2 in that particular area. It's not relevant to where I was at that moment. I'd read books on managing employees and creating a strong company culture before I've even hired my first employee. I mean, even right now, I ain't got no employees. I have 0 employees. So why am I reading a book on managing employees? I'm not there yet. So see, please learn from my mistakes because you have to read and consume information that you can act on right away. Not information that you might act on later on, because it's the action that produces the real result and gives you that true deep depth of knowledge and learning. And see, you learn more by reading less, by acting on what you already know until it becomes who you are. See, that's the key, and it's so simple. If you implement that into your life, not only will you learn a lot, but you'll accomplish amazing things in the process. Because now you're stacking knowledge on top of learning and action. Knowledge, learning, action. Knowledge, learning, action. And it continues to go deeper and deeper. Instead of just being a constant consumer like I was, and maybe you are too, where you're just constantly reading books and listening to audiobooks or watching YouTube videos or reading articles, and it's not actually getting you nowhere. Because the real value comes from taking the action and learning that way. Now, if you enjoyed this and want to see more videos about online entrepreneurship and life mastery, then check these videos out right here and continue becoming the hero of your story, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.